Hey, what's up, YouTube and Triple T members? Jeremy Barber here, owner of Trading the Trend chat room on Discord. There is a link in the video description. It is free to come check us out. If you have not already done so, make sure to subscribe to my channel, make sure to like the videos, and if you know anybody out there that's a trader or they're thinking about starting to trade, send them a link to my channel. I try to make these videos easy to understand, no matter if you've been trading for one day or 10,000 days. I just want everybody on the same page and everybody able to understand it. A lot of people make trading very complicated, and it doesn't have to be that way. So I try to include everybody, make sure everybody is on the same page. So today we're going to be taking a look at one of the plays that came straight from the weekend watch list. I managed to pick up a position in it yesterday morning on the dip. I sold half of it yesterday, or actually 3/4 of it yesterday, and held the rest overnight and jumped out this morning. The ticker is PLBY. So I'm going to take you through the chart, review the chart, and see what I was looking at while I took the, or whenever I took the trade, and then as the trade progressed and holding overnight into today. So here is the review of PLBY. Today we're going to be taking a look at the ticker straight from the weekend watch list, PLBY. It was on the weekend watch list. I already kind of had a plan put together, and it gave a nice dip yesterday morning that provided a good entry point, and I took it. I sold 3/4 of it yesterday for a pretty nice profit, and then I held 1/4 overnight and actually got out of it today at 32. My entry was 24.01, so about a 30% profit from entry to my second exit. But like I said, I did sell 3/4 of it yesterday around 27. So still pretty nice profit from $24 to $27. And it also, scaling out of it, gave me the peace of mind of knowing that I already had some profit locked in, and allowed me to gamble with that last quarter of a position and try to get more, and it worked out. So I have Finviz pulled up. There is a link in the video description for Finviz. And the reason I have this pulled up is I wanted to show you the stats from it. I always look at Finviz, look at a few stats before I enter any play. The float is going to tell you how quickly or slowly a play is going to move for the most part. There are exceptions, but in general, the smaller the float, the more volatile the stock is going to be. You also get wider spreads. So this one has an 11 million float. That's pretty small. I typically like to be above, really between 25 million and 100 million is the sweet spot for me. And I will trade above and below that, obviously. I took this trade at 11 million, but that's generally my sweet spot. The next number, the short float, little over 5%. Until this gets over about 10%, it's really kind of insignificant, to me at least. I don't pay it much attention. And then the last stat is the average volume, 700,000, a little light. I'd like to see this over 1 million whenever I trade it, but doesn't necessarily rule it out. It does maybe adjust my position size due to the float being so small and the average volume being a little light. I did go about a half a position of what I would normally go on this to adjust for the extra volatility. So now we've looked at the stats. Jump over here and look at the chart. We'll start with the daily chart. Okay, so like I said, this was from the weekend watch list, and here's why it was on the weekend watch list. We had on the 24th of March, this stock gapped up and traded down, creating this resistance right here at about $21. So here's the candlestick from Thursday's trading day. You'll notice first off, this volume was definitely larger than all these small ones, but even the days where there were volume spikes, this volume bar is higher than all the rest of those. So we had increased volume with a break over this resistance. Anytime you have a breakout or a break of resistance on increased volume, that's a good sign that it is going to continue the next day. So, and I actually did pick this up on my scan on Thursday, but this long top wick is what prevented me from getting in on Thursday. I don't like holding overnight on tickers that have sold off the last half of the day like this one did. If you look at an intraday chart at this candlestick, you would see it's probably on a downtrend at that point, and that's not when I want to buy, because that downtrend could just continue into the next day. It could be a true reversal. So I played it safe. I waited, and on Monday we got this pullback creating this long bottom wick, and that's where I entered. This thin green line right here was actually my entry right at 24. My entry was actually 24.01. I sold 3/4 at 27, and then I sold the last quarter of it today at 32. So from 24 to 27 with 3/4 of it, and then up to 32. So that was about a 30% move from entry to my second exit. Now we'll take a look at the intraday chart. I am using the 3-minute chart. That's what I use to trade, and this is the last 2 days. Okay, so this green line right here was the close from Thursday. You can see we gapped up, we pulled back down, and just about filled this gap, but didn't quite. So I entered on this third candlestick right here. We had this trade down. We created this long bottom tail right here. It bounced back up above this 24 line. Next candlestick did the same thing. When it pulled back and started moving back up, I set an order to buy, a market order, right as it crossed over 24, and I got filled at 24.01 on this candlestick. And from that point, it was pretty much straight up. I took my profit. Like I said, I took 3/4 of it at 27. Which is going to be right there. I took it after we created this top wick, and this next candlestick was red. I dumped it pretty quickly. Again, very volatile stock, very small float. I didn't really want to take any chances. I wanted to make sure to get some profit locked in and make sure it was a profitable trade. So once I had 3/4 of my trade locked in, I had some leeway with the last quarter of it, and I set a stop loss, again, back down underneath this support line. My stop loss was actually at 22.80. So if it had broke this line, there was the 23 whole dollar psychological support, and then I would have been out at 280. But it never dipped down that low. I just, pretty much let it go. I ignored it from that point. Closed, and then in after hours yesterday, which I don't have shown here, in after hours, so it closed around 27.94 and ran up over 31 in after hours. I was tempted to pull some profit there, but I was thinking back, I've already got profit locked in, I've already got a good trade, I'm going to let this go overnight and see what happens. So we got a drop down right out of the gates. Again, my stop loss was down here, not being threatened, and I just let it go. We ended up getting a double top right here at 33, and then I was out at 32. I jumped out right here. After the double top, again, large profits locked in already, and a double top, which can be a sign of reversal. Take my profit and run and leave a good taste in my mouth. Nice, solid green trade. Now, if you were not out of this, you can see that we had the double top at 33. We pulled back down. It tried to bounce back up. It was rejected at that trend line, also at this 20 moving average right here, and it's pretty much been down since. You can see right now it is sitting right on this 200 moving average. You know, this, I don't think this is done. I still think this has a pretty good move. I'm going to be watching it to see if it sets up for another entry and I can take a little scalp on it. Most likely will not hold it overnight again at this point. It's been moving for 5-6 days now. RSI on the daily was up around 85 earlier. That's too big of a risk. Again, from this point, it would be scalps and day trades only on it. So that was my trade on PLBY. Pretty solid profit straight from the weekend watch list. It allowed me to have my plan together, and whenever I saw it dip yesterday morning, I was ready to pounce on it, and turned out to be a pretty great trade. Okay, so there was the review of PLBY and the trade I took on it. Again, it was straight from the watch list. I already had a plan together. Whenever it dipped Monday morning, I was ready to pounce. It wasn't try to scramble and chart it, find out what's going on. Nope, I had a plan together. It was ready to go, and it was a very profitable trade, all because of the work that I put in on the weekend to be prepared to take that trade. Again, if you have not already done so, make sure to subscribe to my channel, share it with anybody that you know, have them come check me out. Thanks for joining, good luck, and stay green.